Hi everybody, and welcome back to Z-Man. We got Mike and Dustin here on the case to give you the the Tom Clancy comeback of games. We have 3 games we're going to talk about today: The Division, Wildlands, and also Rainbow Six: The Siege. And we want to just talk about these games released, all these, way over a year ago. And
almost 2 years ago, probably,
yeah, some of them almost 2 years ago. And we want to just talk about where they started, and even how some of us kind of dropped off from them, but how we've come back. And again, these games are all available, I believe, on PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Again, you know, Dustin and I are PlayStation 4, which is obviously the best. Did you say that? I didn't say that. But here we go. We're going to start talking into it. So first off, we have Tom Clancy's The Division.
Yeah, and I'll say we jumped in on these games in the beginning. All 3 of them, right?
Yep.
We got Siege, we got Division, we got Wildlands right off the bat. So, okay, let's jump into Division then. So what were your thoughts on the Division? Let's talk about initial launch. We all bought into the game.
We all bought it. In fact,
what was our experience?
Some of us bought, and I don't know if you did too, but we bought the full.
I didn't buy the full thing.
Okay, so I
think I learned my lesson from Destiny at that point.
Which I should have too at the time, but I mean, I guess it ended up being okay in the end. Yeah. But who would have thought?
Right.
So this game, you know,
Destiny.
Go watch your Destiny review, or don't for that matter, because it's an awful game.
No, watch.
So Wildlands, you start off. You got this New York, decimated New York, right?
Yep.
This pathogen has been released, and it's infected everybody. You know, so there's a few set of people that I don't even think they're immune. It's just they probably just didn't catch it.
Yeah.
But I think between the cold, the winter has hit. I think it's kind of killed off what's left of the virus, and now it's just what people are left surviving in New York, which is not that many. I mean, you're talking about millions of people that used to live there. There might be, 10,000 people throughout the entire city.
Right.
And so you have this sleeper cell of Division agents, a very cool concept.
Yeah.
The idea that government actually put specialized trained agents in the field. They have families, there's firefighters, policemen, they're teachers, they're just everywhere. And they pretty much get notified that shit's going down and we need you. And they did some awesome videos.
I was going to say that the videos they did
I will put links on the book.
To market this thing were top notch.
Top notch. Watch them.
Very well done.
Short videos. What were they? About 4 to 7 minutes long, maybe?
Yeah.
Fully worth watching.
Yeah.
They did a great job doing it. So we all started playing this game. Beautiful game. The game for its time and on the PlayStation 4 system, the game just looked beautiful. And then they actually mapped out New York itself. Yeah. Supposedly there was people in New York, they're like, oh my God, I live 2 blocks down to the right of it. I mean, that's how they laid this city out. And some problems with this game. When you fight your enemies, it's not like you just shoot them once or twice and then they just go down. You have to lay in almost clips worth of ammo because this is an RPG style game.
Yep.
So your weapons suck in the beginning, and as you keep going up and finding more gear and more gear and more gear in the grind, eventually you'll be doing solid damage. I'm gonna let you go on for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's what I played for a solid couple months probably with everyone.
Yeah, you were with us.
I fell off first, I believe.
Yep.
And I think that was the biggest thing for me was I love RPG games.
Mm-hmm.
This was my first experience with a kind of a third-person shooter RPG. There haven't been many.
There's not many.
And I think that's what kind of brought me out of it was the bullet sponge enemies. It got repetitive. I like the gear grind. I like trying to find new things. But man, when you've got an automatic rifle and you're laying into dudes for like a minute straight with 5 different clips and they're still up. It just takes me out of it a little bit, and like I get it, I understand why they're going that route because
it was challenging.
It's gear progression and it's about getting better stuff to do more damage, which I totally respect that. But to me, it just didn't feel right to me. And
I don't know what it is. I actually remember the night we were playing, and I remember we were running through. We were near the docks because you have this huge map of New York, right? And they split them off into like different provinces, if you will, right? And city sections, right? And in the center is the dark zone. This really dangerous place where all the agents go in to get the cool gear and go against each other and whatever. But we were outside, and you were just kind of like, guys, I'm just done. And he did, and you did not get on again. And I think you sold it whatever week later. And
I know we talked about this too. I haven't traded in many games. This was one that I did trade in when I was done because I'm like, I don't see myself coming back to it. Mm-hmm. It was fun, and the Dark Zone element was interesting. I feel like it was a very different style of PvP.
Yeah.
You run in and you have to be on guard from the NPC enemies as well as other player characters. I do think that initially the rogue system was just totally botched because you can misfire and shoot your own teammate and then go rogue and then everybody's hunting you, and it was like with so many people in that small area, it's like it's so easy to do that if you weren't wanting to and you accidentally shot somebody, you're like, oh,
yeah,
I'm dead.
And we did. We'd go rogue, and whatever gear we had would immediately, well, unless we won the battle, which sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't.
Sometimes you didn't.
But let's fast forward. So now, just recently, we decided to get back on. So we've had some different content being released, and luckily we had bought in. Me and Appel had bought into the whole shindig, so we had all this content. So they have these different multiplayer modes, and one's a PvP mode where you can actually go in 8 versus 8, and it's kind of interesting because you have like NPCs mixed within, but basically you're running to take like kind of like flags or whatever like that, if you will. They're like computer stations, but you take them over, and whoever owns them gets more points. But anyways, it's kind of a fun, just kind of mess around. You can bring in your friends to it, obviously, or just get placed with a bunch of randos. Yep. You have the underground, which I was telling you, Dustin, that's when you go under and to the subway and the sewers and everything, and you're fighting against all these yellow high-grade enemies, and you're just getting tons of loot. But again, it's more, I mean, they're taking up a lot of bullets, right. So it's still that style. So if you're not used to that kind of game style where you just want to pop them 2 in the head and call it a day, that will not be this game. But eventually you can get better weapons.
Yeah, to do more damage, yeah. And I think, so I did get back into the content. I haven't done the PvP mode or the underground you just mentioned, but the survival mode, which I think is probably the coolest aspect and the most unique.
I liked it.
Was really interesting, and we played a couple rounds, I think, of that, where basically you come in, and how many players go into that?
16, I would say.
16 players. And you could do a PvE-based or a PvP-based mode. Yep. So we did the PvE one, which
was still a challenge. You're
kind of working as a group. We had 4 players playing together, which almost made it harder because you're kind of scavenging.
You can't run together
up front and like trying to collect this stuff. Basically, you're collecting materials, you're collecting weapons, gear to make yourself stronger and survive. And basically, the whole point is to get into the dark zone, find an antidote.
Yep,
and then extract.
Oh, we'll build a flare gun and then extract.
Build a flare gun and extract. So, and this takes, I mean, the games are like
it's almost 30, an hour. I think. Well, I think all said and done, it's almost an hour long.
Almost an hour. So
these you keep staving off the virus by you have to collect food and water and all this stuff. So like we were saying, you can't run together because everybody wants to open up a case, which we're pretty cool about. We're like, hey, you grab this one.
Right.
You give items to each other. But eventually, when things start getting kind of desperate, it's kind of like
real world situation.
Hey, there's like, hey, Mike, is there anything in there? I'm like. No, there ain't nothing in here.
Nothing over here.
There's just this fabric over here. But no, we did have fun playing it, and even though it is a longer style game, we still got a lot of enjoyment. The blizzard's going, you can barely see. You got to try and work together, even though you are kind of piecing yourself out eventually. But it was fun.
Very, very cool.
Most enjoyable mode I've played.
And you'll still run into the occasional purple level like enemies as you're running about, which are a little harder to kill, but then once you get to the end and you're trying to extract, that's when it got really tough, and you get the really, fact, like the hard gold enemies coming in.
I don't want to say it's not impossible, obviously, because the game's built to win, but there's definitely a formula to getting there. But either way, so Wildlands, The Division, definitely worth coming back to, I think, especially if you enjoyed it in the earlier stages. They just have a lot more content that you can play with now. However, though, if you didn't have the season pass, I do believe you have to buy each one of these, because didn't you? You repurchased.
I bought the season pass.
Season pass.
But you can purchase each one individually, I believe.
Did you pay $40 for that?
30 or 40. May have been 40. I think it was 40. But I enjoyed the survival mode.
Yeah.
It's still, like I said, the game and the bullet sponginess of it is still not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But I still have fun with it when we're playing together. They did fix that in the dark zone, the rogue situation.
Rogue.
So you have to actually select, I want to go rogue, before you could start shooting people and going rogue, which I think that would make that experience much more fun.
It does.
But again, it's more content. It's more content that probably should have been in the game
early on. When the game came out.
If it would have been there, then it probably would have held my attention for much longer, because I had other options to kind of jump into. But again, if you liked it up front and you kind of got away from it, I would definitely recommend getting back to it now for sure, because some of the content that they've added is pretty cool.
Try it out.
Yep.
Next one we're going to talk about is the Wildlands.
Wildlands.
So Wildlands, this one was definitely a beautiful looking game.
Gorgeous game.
Especially when you're, we're down in South America.
Bolivia.
Yeah, Bolivia.
Bolivia. Yeah. And it even says when you start the game, this is not a representation of Bolivia, because I don't think the Bolivian government liked
probably
liked all the coke smuggling that they were talking about in the game.
Probably not.
However true that may be.
But pretty cool. You have this multiplayer element, right? 4 players can come together, and I'm gonna let you know this because I know you're pretty passionate about it. But you have all these different styles of how you can go in.
Yeah, and I think that's what drew us into the game initially, and I was really excited for this game because it's an open world. You have different traits and abilities you can buy into to kind of customize your character the way you want to play them.
Tons of weapons.
Tons of missions. and
provinces.
Yeah, a lot
almost
of
like Division, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, but like a fairly cohesive story too. Like,
it was.
You jump into the story and you get some information, and then it's like you're free to go about all of these bosses around Bolivia that are kind of running different things, whether it's smuggling or information or security. You can tackle them however you want to get to the kind of the main boss, El Sueño. And I think the coolest part of the game was like the co-op part of it, right? Yeah. And I know we had 4 or 5 people that had the game. Me, you, Franz, Bomberger, I think, bought it initially, and Tyler, who doesn't play
Tyler, rest in peace, brother. Did you have like one night of that?
Yeah, I think he had a couple nights of it.
Not even that.
If you want to jump back on, we're playing again. But
Beast mode, I think.
Beast mode. Anyway. Playing that game with co-op was the funnest part because
it was.
You get helicopters, you're flying around and just kind of jacking around with each other. I remember a few times when somebody would like go to the bathroom and we'd be flying in the helicopter, we'd all just jump out and let the thing plummet down and blow up. Like those are the fun parts of the game.
Good times.
But you're going into these encampments and enemies die. Yeah. And when you headshot them, they die. Yeah. There's no bullet sponge here.
Oh no, they drop.
But going into these encampments with like all these soldiers, you can any way you want to. You can go in guns blazing if you want to. You can go silent. You could have a Overwatch up on a hill sniping people. You can mark targets. To help kind of coordinate, to say, hey, I've got target 1, I've got target 2, you have a drone that goes up. And again, all these different skills and stuff that you can unlock.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to this game, but I think we played it for a couple of months, maybe a few months.
Yeah.
And it just got repetitive, right?
I know, I think for me, when every district we went into, they had all these different like collectibles and things to get skill points and stuff like that. And OCD kind of started taking over. I'm like, well, I got to get all this different shit. And I think I just stopped doing that. And after about 5 provinces of just finding every little thing, I was just kind of like, I'm good, you know. And there was still like I still have like another 10 of them to go through or more.
So, if you're a completionist, there's a shitload of stuff in this game.
You will be busy.
You're going to be busy. And I think you're right. And you go into a new province, and it's kind of the same formula every time. Find these areas that you gain some intel. And then you unlock like other missions to go interrogate somebody or extract somebody. And it's pretty robust, but it still gets repetitive. It doesn't.
Should have played the story. Should have just played the story straight through. But I was like, oh no, we're here. We got to do it.
We have to get this stuff.
But fast forwarding
now, in which I think what the game was lacking. So the PvP mode, the Ghost War mode that was added.
Finally got that PvP.
I don't know. We just jumped into it recently. I think it was added a few months ago.
It was, yes.
4 versus 4 PvP, still class based. You have a different leveling system within the PvP mode. So you have to play games to earn experience to level up, and then when you level up, you get the ability to unlock different classes in the PvP. So
1 point per level.
1 point, or about that. I think I've one. Yeah, but you don't level every game. That's what you're saying. So usually, like every couple games, you'll earn a level.
Exactly.
Get a point to unlock a different class, or even those classes have different perks that you can unlock too to make them a little bit more efficient or effective. It does kind of lead to people who play longer have more options.
Yes, they do.
But we were just talking about this. We don't feel like we were ever overpowered or at a disadvantage, and we're fairly good at these types of games. But like
there's more of the sneaky stuff, like the mines, like anti-personnel mines that you couldn't see unless you were like right on top of it. Yeah, there's now classes that you can actually see them within like 20 yards of yourself, which then calls it out for your team. Yeah. So having a nice balanced team, which we talked about there. Well, we didn't talk about. There's the marksman class, assault, and support.
And then each of those have different subclasses within it. Yeah. So like marksman, you've got snipers and enforcers and sentinels and different things, but it's basically focused on ranged fire.
And the type of weapons,
type of weapons that you have, kind of that stealthy, sneaky aspect of it.
Yeah, support, which I know you're loving playing.
So I'm liking the support. So support has a lot of like the drones and the scouts. So
pretty cool.
The scout is very helpful when you're trying to find, because I will tell you, this game is beautiful, and the environments, you blend in so well that if you don't have an enemy marked with either your scope or your binoculars or your drone, it's really hard to see people. And you're coming up in like tall weeds. Some people are just.
Remember that guy I followed him the other night? Remember, he went into this huge, massive, just mound of shit, and I couldn't find him. He just lost him.
So you need those other elements, like that drone. For me, when I play the scout, I'm kind of just like creeping up behind Mike as he's kind of running in looking for targets. I'll just run in and
baby, gotta get in there.
I'll run in and lay down and throw up my drone and try to find people, because if you're not spotting people, it's like it's just hard. It's really hard to find.
By the way, that was that Rambo. If you haven't seen it, go over and watch our Gamer Stereotypes 1.0. We have 9 of the most nutty things that the gamers out there will do to you. Everything from the snacker to the Rambo guy who runs in, the Mr. Excuses, which I am also part of that one.
I guarantee if you play video games online, you know one of these people or you're one of them or more. Yes. Guarantee it.
Please go out and watch it. We're looking for views on it because we put in some solid time on that one.
We had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, check it out.
But
to Wildlands.
So it's kind of a deathmatch style, at least the one match we played. But now they have a new mode of extraction too, where you have a couple hostages at 2 locations and you're defending or attacking, coming in trying to break the hostages out, which we played a couple times, and I think it's ended up being a deathmatch every time because
you take out the team.
You take out the team, you win still. But it's really well done.
It is.
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Between being beautiful, all the weapons and gear, and by the way, you can customize your weapons to no end. Now, I'm not sure fully yet the customization of the weapons in the PvP. It looks like you're kind of honed in on a certain style of weapons that whatever. But in the first player, you can change out your scope, your mag, your frontal grip, your stock. I mean, more things than I even thought probably a weapon could even have.
Yeah.
And we played a lot of shooters, so.
And that's where all those parts come in that you're finding throughout the maps. The other thing too, so again, if that PvP mode would have been in that game in the beginning, I never would have stopped. I probably would have stopped playing.
Well,
but
eventually,
I would have played it much longer because it gives you that different element to go into when you're playing the single player or the co-op, and it gets that repetitive.
You need somebody that can think and to go against you.
Yeah, you're like, okay, let's go into this PvP and try that out.
Yep.
But I will say too, in the single player or the co-op, they added these events.
Oh yes.
And we were doing this last. Mike and I were trying this last night.
You mean the glitched out event that we couldn't complete last night?
But cool idea. Cool concept.
Yeah, it is.
So it's basically like a set of new missions that you can go through and you can get a reward for it, like a cosmetic reward.
Yeah.
The bad thing is, I think this event's been going on since like Halloween.
Yeah.
So
probably time to trade that one.
Maybe time to get a new one in there. But if they could do that consistently and have like one a month or one every few weeks to go through and like do these challenges and get something for it, and then give you a new one to keep you coming back, that would be pretty cool.
Hopefully they'll keep doing it since PvP didn't release too long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like the game itself has almost run its course, but I will admit the PvP has definitely rejuvenated it. I mean, even when we got back out, single player could even be fun just playing around a little while, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
And I think we were saying too, like, the game got repetitive in the single player, but you kind of have a new respect for it when you go and play other games like Destiny or you have these supposedly open world games that ended up being fairly linear.
Yeah, they're very.
You come back to Wildlands and it's like it's kind of refreshing again to just be able to go do whatever the hell you want.
Go jump. You want to fly over here? Do over there. Go shoot down a plane. Do a side mission.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Wildlands, definitely cool to come back around to. If you haven't checked it out, go out check out a few YouTube videos. We probably showed a little bit of footage here in the video itself. Beautiful game, especially if you have a 4K TV. It looks just all the better these days.
But yeah, if you played Division, you were on the fence, you didn't really like the bullet spongy
this is your
enemies. I'd say this is the option for you, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. So check it out.
Now, when it comes to the tactical games, the true Tom Clancy things that we have come to love over the years between PC and all the other different consoles, we have Rainbow Six The Siege. And this one, you have a 5v5, and it's all online based, and no story mode or anything like that. And you're going in, and you're basically trying to either extract hostages or going in to fuse a bomb or this or that. But basically, you have the assault team outside of like a bank or a villa, of course, right? And that villa will be so the team when it starts off, the inside defense team will give a chance to go and defend all the windows, put down traps and these little laser barrier traps. We'll talk about that a little bit. But you have all these different operators.
Yep.
So go ahead and talk about operators.
So very class based, almost like it's almost like hero style shooter. Like if you think of like an Overwatch, right? You have your heroes that all have like different abilities. It's almost like that with these operators. So they all have like their talents, right? And they have special abilities, and they're unique. And you have a set of offensive operators and a set of defensive operators that are separate. So if you're playing defense, you have a selection of these guys. If you're playing offense, you have a selection of these guys, and you go back and forth on the maps when you're playing. But yeah, like Mike said, right, and it's really intense right off the bat because you don't have a lot of time, right? So as a defender, it's like, oh shit, you have to figure out where you're at, where your objective is that you're trying to defend, how to strategically like barricade the walls or reinforce windows, or if you have a special ability to set up a laser tripwire, whatever. You have to work with your team to figure out like where you want to set that stuff out, and then position yourself for when the attack comes. Like where do you want to be stationed at to to not get your ass shot right away,
It goes
but also
down
have a good
quick.
line of sight.
It goes down
And then
quick.
as you're attacking, you have little rolling drone kind of things, right? So you can your objective is to roll these drones around and try to find the objective in the location.
So that way you don't waste your time. We got like 5 minutes, I think, every round or something like that to get your mission.
So you have like a couple minutes to find it, and then if one of your teammates finds it, it'll mark it for you, so you know like, hey, here's the objective. Then you can start planning your attack on how you want to breach and come in.
Absolutely.
And the coolest part about the game is like it's the destructible environments. You could breach through walls.
Yeah, you fire through walls.
Fire through walls.
Break them, with your gun, the butt of your gun, so you can see like little holes in the area to watch through.
And we were just talking like I don't think there's another game, at least not that I've played. There's not another game like this where you can literally blow a hole through a wall, run in and get behind somebody that maybe wasn't expecting it, or it gets to a point to where you're kind of like even causing diversions, right? So
other than like, and I want to put aside like Battlefield, which Battlefield I think was one of the
it's destructible.
But again, Battlefield's a totally different type of game, right? But you're right, where you can go in.
This is very tactical. Battlefield, it's like I want to blow this damn building up and drop it on your head.
Yeah.
This is more I'm going to breach here.
Yeah.
Insert myself. It's more surgical, right?
And forget bullet sponge. You get tapped in the head with a bullet, you're down.
Yeah.
Center mass even, you're probably gonna go down pretty quick.
Headshot's gonna drop you, even if it's a pistol. Like you're down.
But they got different classes. You got a guy who can drop armor for the team. You got ones again put laser, little charges or whatever. You have
MPs. You have
the MP that destroys electronic devices.
The guy with the sledgehammer that can break through windows and walls and stuff.
Oh,
you have the one Franz uses that shoots the grenades through the walls. There's one guy that could he punctures like a hole through a wall or a ceiling and basically drops like 3 grenades down in there and then blows up whoever's down there. So
Yam was he's always used to put it right where the hostage was. And would kill the hostage. Good for you, Yam.
Yeah.
Nice one. Smart work.
But so the game is very tactical, and like I said, it gets down to like, as you play it for a while, you almost have to create diversions for people. Because if you blow a hole in a wall, the defender's looking at that hole, right? They're like, okay, they're gonna come through here.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're like, it's all mind games. It's like, okay, I'm gonna place a breach charge here.
Yeah.
We'll go around this other side, maybe breach two walls at once or whatever you want to do, and then come in from different angles or whatever. But you just have to kind of outthink your opponent and be creative with how you get in there. And you could rappel up the side of the building and shoot through the window, like.
And Siege is still huge in the community out there. They have leagues going. I think they're even before Overwatch got theirs going and everything. Yeah. And these guys get super serious about it. So there is kind of cool. We did see that there looks like there is another mode coming, and it actually has some zombie-related stuff. Perked my ears just because I just love everything zombies, right? But we don't know a whole lot about it except that we have a date around February 18th.
I think they were predicting around February 18th for it to drop if it kind of followed the same path as the other content releases for Siege. So. Again, not a lot about the zombie mode, but it seemed like it was interesting and it was.
It could be fun. I mean, especially if you're working together as a team, and depending on how they're going to do it, I highly doubt it's going to be like your Call of Duty style because that's just not what Siege is about.
Yeah.
And the idea of we did fall off in this game. I don't think so much that it's not because we didn't enjoy it, but I think we had other games to play. Yeah. Other games that I think we probably regret playing a bit.
Yeah.
Starts with a D and a Y. Oh, sorry. Oh, you got a cold? Get you a drink or something.
But I agree. So this game was one that I think it was the finished product when it released.
It was nice.
They've added content to it. If anything, it's gotten a little better with
the leveling system. I don't know what you want to call it.
I didn't have that problem.
Tell them why you didn't have that problem, Dustin.
Some of us got the gold edition of the game,
yes,
which came with all of the operators, so I didn't have to purchase them
separately. No, you didn't, did you?
I don't know. Like, does it matter how I got the edition of the game?
Let's just say he might have been somewhere, and a lady wasn't so smart, and let's just say he got the full version for a price that was nowhere near what he probably should have paid.
I mean,
that's the short and skinny of it. So
the employee said, "This game should be $60. Why is it ringing up at $100?" And I said, "I have no idea. It should be $60."
It's your store, man.
She said, "Okay, I'll change that." I said,
so some of us unlucky bastards like myself did not get the gold edition, and you need 25,000 points to level up. Anyways, a lot of you already played the game. You already know this. So I think that was one of the weaker points. Is you have to wait so damn long to unlock these guys. I think
I'm feeling that now because I don't have the newer content, like the newer operators that didn't come with the gold edition. So
I mean, and by the way, if somebody's thinking, why don't you just pay $30 and just get it? Good point. Do it. Absolutely do it because you get the other operators. You can probably have a little bit more fun with it.
If you love the game and you don't mind dropping the money, then I think it's well worth it.
We did love it. I was trying to make it some sense like, I'll achieve these characters until I was like, man, it takes an asshole at a time to achieve these characters. So Oh well, I unlocked like 2 of them out of the 6 or so they had.
And I think some of the most fun moments I've had in this game were when we were playing with our friends or people we met. Right?
Heck yeah.
So we had I think there was one night.
The crew together. Yeah.
There was one night we had like. We didn't have a full 10.
Yeah.
But I think we were close. We had like 8 people online that had the game, and we were playing in a private match, and just kind of switching teams where we needed to make it even. Chat. But man, we were all just giving each other shit in the chat. It was a good time.
That was some of the best times I think in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to see if we can get another crew going on that.
Yeah.
Hey. If you want to try and get back out there, if you guys want to play with us, we'll get our tagger names out there. I'm Schilling128. That's Schillin 128.
I am DShelt42.
So maybe we'll catch out there on the battleground, huh?
Yeah, we'll play.
But again, Tom Clancy, I don't think these games will ever die, even though Tom Clancy is gone in our world. I think his legacy, games, and stories will always continue to live on and be just kind of rejuvenated throughout the years.
Yeah, and I think they've done well with what they brought back to the games. I just hope they learn take your time and make sure this stuff is in the game when it releases. And
yeah, make sure the game's right coming out. This is the world we live in now, where we are getting incomplete games, and we're still buying them. And I'm guilty of it, fully guilty.
Me too.
Every part of me should be saying, do not buy this game. But then the other part of me is like, yeah, but we got this new game we could be playing, and it's weird. Yeah. I'm almost to the brink. We keep saying it.
Yeah.
We're at least stopped. We're not pre-ordering as much as we used to.
Yeah.
But we got a long way to go, and hopefully the industry is starting to learn, especially after Star Wars Battlefront 2 and all that crazy crap and loot boxes. I think there's a hearing that's supposed to be going down pretty soon to start understanding if loot boxes are actually gambling.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear some people's thoughts too. Do you think loot boxes are gambling? I gotta be honest. I think it is.
I think in a sense.
In a sense,
yeah. And
because
it's like, what is gambling to you? I think it's kind of that addictive nature of.
It's paying for a randomized result of something going on, and to us older ones, we're like, F that, we're not gonna pay that. What about some young kid whose parents, by the way, there's some out there where they just have full reign, and they're like, I gotta get that skin, I'm gonna keep going and keep going. You tell me that's not gambling? That's addictive. And I'm sorry, it just is. But
so even when it's done, I think in the best way, in the sense of where it's just cosmetic. If there's an element to pay for it, though, you still have that. You still have that addictive nature where if people are just dropping money on it.
Yeah, because cosmetics, some people get so built up on those cosmetics. I'm like, I don't care what my guy looks like. As long as I'm whooping ass, I don't really give a care. It's when I can't win because the next guys have weapons that are completely beyond my range, right?
I think it's just about balance. And if I think of the best game in this sense, it's Overwatch.
Yeah.
Overwatch has the loot boxes, but you earn them through playing. They even added recently more ways to do that, like in the arcade mode. You could play win this game and you get a loot box, or as you level up you get loot boxes. You get them often enough to where you open them and you get decent stuff.
Yeah.
And then you earn currency too, to where you could actually buy what you want. So after, I don't know, playing for a little bit, and
after 400 or 500 hours of your life, and
it's not that bad. It's nowhere near Siege. After a while, you could break stuff down, or you get duplicates or whatever. You could say, oh, I want this skin, and I have the currency to buy it now.
That's true.
So that's one of the games I felt like they've done it well. I never felt like I just really wanted to spend money on, which I never would anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But it's like you get enough content to where you just play for a bit and you get stuff, and it's like it's a nice balance. But I think it's all about the balance, and some games just really screw that up.
So, well, next time we're going to come up, we're going to talk about some other future games coming up later this year. There's probably a good chance a lot of these will get pushed off, but all the same, we will talk about those. I think it'll be our top 5 or 6 that we are looking really forward to. But until then, this is Z-Man signing off, and Mike Schilling.
Justin Shelton, adios.
See you later.